Hey guys, Beth from Ozark Prepsteaders here and Century 21 Lemac, because today I am doing a real estate update for y'all. So things have not changed much here insofar as it's still crazy short on inventory. In fact, here's our breakdown for the 3 MLSs that I work, which encompasses about a 60-mile radius of Mountain Home. So only that area. I'm not talking about like Springfield, Branson, Fayetteville, anything like that. This is a 60-mile radius of Mountain Home. I work out of 3 MLSs. Mountain Home has an MLS. There is a general rural Arkansas MLS, and then a general rural Missouri MLS. So this is both sides of the border. If you find Mountain Home, Arkansas on a map, and you measure about 60 miles out in any direction, that's the area that we're talking about, okay? So I broke it down by price points because that's what most people are shopping. So from $1,000 to $100,000, in that entire area, there is a total of 157 properties on the market that have some type of infrastructure. So it could be a 1-bedroom, 1-bath shack. It could be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath mobile. It could be anything in between. It could be on less than a 1/4 acre lot in town, or it could be on more acreage out in the country. So again, this is between $1,000 and $100,000. We have a total of 157 properties on the market. So the breakdown of that is in the Mountain Home area, there's about 28. In the rural Arkansas area outside of Mountain Home, there's about 66. And in the Missouri side, that same rural area, there's about 63. Now here is the caveat. Some agents who are part of multiple MLSs, like I am, will list the same property in more than one MLS. So I guarantee you we have less than the 157. We probably have more like maybe 120, because a bunch of those are going to be listed in multiple MLSs, so they're going to be counted twice. I just want to talk to you about what those type of properties look like. The majority of the time, those type of properties are going to be cash only. They're going to need some type of major work or expansion or something to get them ready to be financeable. Generally, they're going to be in pretty rough condition. And it would still get you out of Babylon. So I'm just saying, if you have a tight budget, if you're trying to pay cash, there are properties available. Is it going to be, something really, really nice on 10 acres? No, it's not. It's not. That's not going to happen. But you might find something really nice on 1 acre or 2 acres, or you might find something that just needs some work, on a little less acreage. But there are options out there. Okay. So our next category is from 101,000 to 150,000. Okay. We have 23 around the Mountain Home area, 32 in the more rural Arkansas area, and then 34 on the Missouri side. Same as before. It goes with all these I'm going to talk about. There's probably not that many because some agents are in more than one MLS, and so they're going to be listed in multiple MLSs. So the total number on that is 89. So again, that's from 100,000 to 150,000. These are going to be the same as the other ones, although probably a bigger percentage of these will be financeable, especially when you get up to 150,000 on less acreage or maybe in town. There's some really nice houses available at that price point. Okay, our next price point is 151,000 to 200,000. Around the Mountain Home area, we've got 21 properties. In the greater Arkansas rural area, we have 35, and on the Missouri side, we have 25. So the total there is 81. Again, it's probably more like 61 because these are going to be in multiple listings. For 200,000, you should be able to find something even maybe on up to 5 acres that's in pretty decent condition. You will definitely be able to get some of these properties financed. It won't be an issue. What I personally am seeing is whenever we get up to 150, 200,000, the properties that are on acreage at that price point are almost all manufactured homes. Lots of mobile homes in this area. So if that scares you, that could be an issue for you. If that doesn't scare you, you're going to see a lot more opportunities. And then the next batch is anything over 200,000. Okay, so in the mountain home area, we have 99 properties. We've got 71 in the greater rural Arkansas area and 81 on the Missouri side. There's not very many, to be honest with you, between like 200 and 350. In all of those MLSs, pretty limited amount, and then we're up to 400 or 500, and then $1 million properties and up, which are, you know, could be anything from resort properties to big farms and ranches, those kind of things. So here's our totals. So properties under 100,000, again, this is within a 60-mile radius of Mountain Home, Arkansas. We have 157 on the market. Between 101,000 and 150, we have 89 on the market. Between 151,000 and 200,000, we have 81 on the market. And between 200,000, from 200,000 up, we have 251 on the market. So the total is in the greater mountain home area, we have 171 residential single family listings. I did not include condos and townhomes in here. We don't have very many, but you know, I don't have any buyers right now looking for that. So I didn't include those in here. For the greater Arkansas rural area, we have 204 properties on the market. And for the southern Missouri area that I cover, we have 203. So that's not very many properties for the amount of folks that are, you know, wanting to come here. However, there are still a lot of good properties. You probably are going to have to adjust your expectations and your thinking, and if at all possible, you know, your budget, because we are just seeing properties go up and up and up. In some cases, we're seeing jumps of, you know, 5 to 10% a month. I mean, it's crazy, the cost on some of these properties. So yeah, I've thought about doing a similar report to this for land. But land, here's what I'm finding. I'm talking to a lot of people who think they want to buy raw land, and then they realize what is involved in raw land here, and they change their mind because it's super expensive to do anything with it. Even if you just want to set an RV on it, or you just want to be completely off grid, you still have to clear a path from whatever road is nearest to get into your property. And I'm trying to think of the right way to describe it. Out in the woods here, in the thickness of the woods and what you're dealing with is very, very similar to what you would expect if you were trying to clear some rainforest property. Like, it is thick. It is thick with trees and brambles and weeds. And anytime other than the winter, it is thick with bugs and ticks and that kind of stuff. And there's videos all over YouTube of folks in this area clearing land, and what a daunting process it is. So that's your most fundamental, right? You at least have to make a road into your property. Once you get set up on your property, if you want to live completely off grid and all that, more power to you. The majority of people, they're not wanting to do that. The vast majority of people want electric and running water and septic. And that's expensive. So electric is $100 a foot from the nearest pole to wherever your power box is on your property. So most folks don't want to be right by the road, but they end up being right by the road because it's so dang expensive to get electric in. And then your well is you're gonna start for your well with your pump and everything, you're gonna start around 10 grand, and it could go up to 30. I mean, I've seen that happen regularly. And then the other issue is your septic. A lot of property here will not perk for septic because of, the ground structure. And so then you've got to figure out what you're going to do with that. And your septic could easily be another $10,000 to $30,000. Okay. So let's go with the middle. So let's say you're at 15,000 for your well, 15,000 for your septic. That's 30,000. Let's say you've got to run, 100 feet in for your electric. That's another 10 grand. So you're up to 40,000. You're going to spend probably another 10 grand getting your road in. So now you're at 50 plus the cost of your land, and you haven't built anything yet. You haven't put anything on. Maybe you're going to live in an RV. That's cool. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm totally happy to sell it to you. I'll sell you whatever you want. What I'm saying is people think they want one thing, and then they get here and see the reality of it. And yeah, I got one client, hey, you know who you are. Her and her husband are under contract on a really, really nice place. Well, she has 2 grown sons who I have met, and they're very, very cool guys. And they are young and strong and like all American alpha male kind of guys. And they want to buy a big chunk of acreage, and they want to build from the ground up. They want to cut their own roads in. They want to build their cabins from the wood that's on the property. And I don't have a doubt in my mind they can do it. Like, not a doubt in my mind. But, I don't know their exact ages, but they're probably in somewhere between their late 20s to late 30s. And like I said, they are like, yeah, very attractive, strong guys who I just don't have any doubt they can do it. I don't have any other clients like that. All the rest of my clients are folks who are, mostly in their 40s to 50s, mostly have kids, mostly need some type of infrastructure. Like, they gotta have infrastructure. So one of the ways around that is if you have cash and you can buy one of these properties that is maybe you're paying $80,000 and the property is only 4 acres and the house is barely livable, but you have the infrastructure there, right? You've got the electric, you've got the road into the property, you've got your well, you've got your septic. That's a big chunk of the cost taken care of. And then you can build something else from there. And like I said earlier, the other issue with a lot of these lower end properties is they're just not financeable. The bank doesn't, 90% of the time you cannot finance land. The bank will not finance raw land. They want to make sure they can get their money's worth out. And so they will finance something with infrastructure on it if it's in good condition. Like you could get a bank to finance a cabin if the cabin is worth at least, $50,000 to $75,000, depending on the lender, with the land and all the infrastructure. That's another thing a lot of folks don't know. Traditional lenders have a cap on how low they will lend. I work with one lender. I think her company's cap is either 50 or 55,000. I work with another. Theirs is 75,000. So if you're hoping to finance something for 40,000, like, it's not going to happen with a real estate mortgage. You're going to have to find some other way to do it. And there are all kinds of creative ways to finance. There's tons of videos and stuff on that. That's not what I do. I don't help with that portion of it. By the time you get to me, you should already have a good idea of how you're going to pay for whatever it is you're going to buy. You either have cash or you are going to take out a mortgage. You're pretty confident you can get a mortgage. Maybe you don't have a lender yet. I can definitely hook you up with a lender. But yeah, you should have a good idea of how you're going to pay for it. So here's the other thing. If you have property to sell, if you have to sell something to be able to buy something, you have to sell it first. You have to get it under contract, and you have to be in a position where it looks like it's actually going to close in order for us to get an offer in on something here. The market is just moving way too fast here. There are way more buyers than sellers. And so sellers, this is not a buyer's market. This is a seller's market. So sellers do not need to accept offers contingent on you selling your property. They have enough buyers with cash, or buyers who, are already through that process and getting ready to close on the property they're trying to sell, that they can just, accept those offers, and yours will not get accepted. And there is no point in wasting time looking at property and, thinking about putting offers in whenever the current property that you have to sell hasn't sold yet. So I talk to a lot of folks who say, well, I'm getting ready to put it up for sale. And I say, call me whenever you're under contract, because there's really just not much we can do. If you are selling and you have not talked to a lender yet, and you're going to need to take out a mortgage to buy here, I can certainly help you get that ball rolling, because you should do that as soon as possible. But there is no point at looking at property and talking about buying property and all of that until your current property is under contract and well under contract. A lot of times property falls out. There's reasons that it falls out. Usually it has something to do with either financing of the buyer, or you'll get a bad inspection report, or you'll get a low appraisal. Those are the three main reasons that properties fall out of contract, and it happens quite a bit. I know agents from all over the country. I know that we are not the only super hot market. Folks are leaving the big cities for all kinds of different destinations. I know Northern Idaho has been going crazy. Tons of folks pouring out of California, Oregon, and Washington into Northern Idaho. Their market is insane. If you were to research Boise, their market has just gone crazy over the last 5 to 7 years. I mean, very similar to what we're going through here, except they've been going through it a lot longer. If you were planning on waiting, I can tell you this market here and places like Boise, any place that folks are fleeing to, it is not going to slow down anytime soon, and prices are going to continue to go up. I listened to somebody today who's he's a prepper guy, and he basically said, if you haven't left yet, it's getting to the point where it's too late, and that's absolutely true. I'm spending a lot of time helping other folks buy and sell, and I'm realizing that Randy and I need to get on the ball, because prices have gone up substantially since I started real estate here last July. It's crazy, not only how fast prices have gone up, but how quickly properties are selling. And that is happening all over the country in areas that folks are fleeing to. So just keep that in mind. You can only do what you can do, but if you are serious about getting out of where you're at to someplace, that is a little bit more red, just realize there's hundreds of thousands of other folks feeling and thinking the same thing you're feeling and thinking, and some of them might be, already ahead of you. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, you can only do what you can do. But you have to be realistic about, there is a finite amount of land and a finite amount of property, and it's going quick. Hey, do not get discouraged, okay? I get that this market is super tough. I get that especially at the lower price points, it's super tough. Trust me, I get that if you are leaving one area for another area and you don't have a job, you can't get a mortgage, and that really puts a kink in things. I get it. But don't give up. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to open up, what miracle will occur for you, especially if you're a believer, because I've seen miracles happen a lot in this business. Things that are like, oh, there's no way that should have worked out. It works out because that's God and that's how God works. So hang in there. Don't get discouraged. There is something out there for everyone. It may not happen as quickly as you want it to happen. The property may not look exactly like you think it's going to look in your head, but if you persevere, if you're patient, and if you have a great realtor, you will eventually find a property that's going to work for you. All right. So y'all have a great weekend. I am out and I will catch you on the next one.